There's a tool called Zite that keeps showing up in my comments, and people keep asking if they should be using it to build apps for clients instead of what I use. So instead of answering one comment at a time, I went and built the exact same client portal twice, once in Zite and once in Softr, which is the tool that I use for all of my client projects. Same prompt, same requirements, same afternoon. And by the end of this, you're gonna know exactly which one of these you can hand over to a business owner who just paid you $4,000, and which one I'd keep on your own laptop for now. I help business owners, entrepreneurs, and just regular people turn AI into actual revenue. If that sounds like you, come join my school community of over 3,000 members doing that exact thing for real. You'll learn how to actually find clients, sell things that they want to buy, and close them. And you'll get access to me to get all your questions answered. The link is down below. Now let's get into it. So first, what these actually are, because they're going after the same thing, and that's exactly why this comparison is worth 10 minutes of your life. Zite is an AI-powered app builder aimed at businesses. You describe what you want in plain English, and it builds you the app, a database behind it, and workflows to tie the two together. It's SOC 2 compliant, and it ships with authentication and permissions on day one. It's also got this whole planning mode where it asks you what screens you need and who gets access to what before it generates a single thing, which is smart because that's how you stop an AI from confidently building the wrong app very quickly. Softr is the one I use, and the reason I keep coming back to it for client work is that the front end, the login logic, the database, the AI, and the automations all live in one place. So you hand over one clean system instead of a pile of duct tape. I rebuilt my entire inventory management system on it a while back, the one that originally took me 12 hours across Airtable and N8N, and it took me less than 1/10 of that time, minutes instead of hours. So now we go head to head, Zite versus Softr, and we'll see who comes out ahead. Here's the prompt, and both tools got it word for word. A client portal for a small business. The business's own customers log in on one side and upload something, and the team reviews everything on the other side. Roles and permissions so the team can do things that their customers can't. And that's not a weird edge case that I picked to make anything look bad. That is the exact shape of the invoicing system that I built on this channel, and the CRM, and it's one of the most common things that a local business will hand you money for. And I'm scoring both on 4 rounds. How the build itself goes, what comes in the box, what happens when you need to change something, and then the most critical one, whether I'd put my name on it and then walk away. That last round is the most important thing to me as someone who's actually doing this for money. Okay, so we're here on Zite, and I'm gonna turn on plan first and then give it my prompt. So a client portal for small business. The business's own customers log in on one side and upload something, and the team reviews everything on the other side. Roles and permissions so the team can do things that customers can't, and we'll send that off. Okay, so it's asking me what the customers are uploading. I'm going to say documents and files. So what does review look like for your team? The recommendation is approve or reject and leave feedback comments. I'm going to go with that. And what kind of business is this for? I'm going to say for an accounting firm. Okay, so it looks like in the planning mode, it's coming up with kind of an overview, a mock-up of what the actual dashboard is going to look like, the actual upload dialog, so what is going to be seen by the clients, so what my clients' customers are going to see when they're going to upload something, the document detail, and then the team review dashboard. It's also going to have the client list, the data and rules, so what the user setup is going to look like, what kind of documents are going to be able to be uploaded, and then what the comments are going to record in the app. So on the left-hand side, it has my plan. Here's the plan for my client portal. Clients log in, see their own documents, upload new ones with drag and drop, and read feedback from my team. Your team gets a separate dashboard showing all submissions across all clients with search and filter and the ability to approve, reject, and leave comments. Roles are enforced throughout. Clients never see another client's files, and only team members can approve and reject. All right, so everything looks good. I'm going to click build plan. Okay, and now it's prompting me to click create database. Okay, and then on the left-hand side, we can see that it's making all the changes. Now it's summarizing what the changes are, and it's showing me the actual app. Okay, so I'm going to click here to preview as user, and it looks like I'm the only user in here, so I can only really look at what kind of information I'm able to see. So I'm just going to go ahead and upload something random and click submit. Okay, so the document was uploaded successfully. It shows it's pending, and then I'm just basically I'm my client's customer at this point, so I'm the one uploading this invoice and waiting for it to be approved or rejected. Okay, so if I come here to the database, I can see that I'm the only one in here, and then I have the document that I just uploaded. And if I come here to the users tab, I'm also just the only one in there. So let's see if I can add a user, and I'm just gonna put jane@example.com. Okay, so it's telling me that I need to actually publish my app to add users. So let me go ahead and publish it. Okay, and now I'm just looking at like the permissions since I just published this, and it looks like the default is anyone. So sign up is open to everyone. I would actually only want to have it restricted to invite only. So that's just one thing to make a note of. If you're actually building something production ready, you need to either set it to invite only or only allowed domains so that just random people who happen to find your app are not gaining access to it. And it doesn't look like I'm able to log in as like the administrator. So I'm only able to log in as my client's customer, so the accounting firm's customer. So unfortunately, I can't see what like the approval process is going to look like on the other side of their customers uploading an invoice. I did think the planning mode was really cool. I also liked the questions that it came back and asked me, like, what kind of business is this for? Oftentimes we can be building something in a hurry and we're not, putting the best prompts in there. So the fact that it has that as a fallback is really helpful. And time from adding the first prompt to going through the build phase to actually having the output of the app finished was about 13 minutes. But like I said, I'm not able to log in as other users, so I'm just limited to what I can see as my client's customer or the end user for my client, which are their accounting clients. Okay, let's head over to Softr. Okay, so I'm going to give Softr the same exact prompt. A client portal for small business. The business's own customers log in on one side and upload something, and the team reviews everything on the other side. Roles and permissions so the team can do things that the customers can't. All right, and I'm going to send that off. So one thing I'm noticing is obviously Softr doesn't have like a build button that you can toggle on and off, or a plan button that you can toggle on and off. But it is asking me, some of the same questions at least that Zite was asking. So what are customers actually uploading? I'm going to say documents and files. And then what's the review outcome or status flow that you want? So interesting that Zite said submitted and then approved or rejected, but can add comments. These are the options that Softr is giving me. So I'm going to say submitted in review and then approved and rejected. Interestingly, do you need messaging/notes between customers and your team inside of the portal? I'm going to say yes, comments and notes. So interesting that it has that kind of split out into two different questions, but it's getting to the same place where Zite got to in its plan mode. Okay, and then how will my users log in? I'm going to say email. And can people sign up on their own? So this is the security thing that I mentioned with Zite. It just defaulted to anyone can sign up. I'm going to say no, I'll invite my users because I don't want random people having access to this client portal. And then what should your app's main navigation layout be? I'm good with bottom and side for mobile and desktop respectively. And I'm going to go with Mantis. I like that theme. So it's actually giving me creative control over the colors and whatnot. Okay, and I'll click create my app. Okay, so it's just only been a couple minutes and it's already building out my users, submissions, and comments databases. So interesting that it's building out the databases first. Okay, and then on the left-hand side, I'm seeing that it's making updates to all of the databases. One thing I really appreciate about Softr is it's actually creating sample data in there for me. So I'm able to look at like what the format looks like, if it's shared team only, what the attachment looks like, but just being able to do that without having to populate that myself. So I can see kind of a variety of data. All right, and now we're starting to see the actual interface coming to life. This is where the end user will be able to submit documents. And it's actually creating a pretty detailed record in here. So that's pretty cool. Okay, cool. It's saying that my app is ready. So let's click here to try it live. And just for timekeeping purposes, the Softr build took about 7.5 minutes. So about half the time that Zite took. So we can log in here. Right now I'm previewing it as myself. I can export submissions. If I scroll over, I can see when they were reviewed, who reviewed them, the documents. And then I can actually open each individual record and get more information on it. Pretty cool that there's like an actual audit trail built in here. So that's fantastic. Oftentimes business clients want to see who made changes, who logged in and touched something, who's assigned to something, who's following up with it. So I think that's a really cool feature that kind of inherently new to build in there. And also there's analytics. So this is also pretty cool. You can get a sense of like where things are sitting. Again, you can see who's assigned to what, if things are approved or need review or that kind of a thing. So if I click this drop-down menu, I can also log in as team members, so people on the client's team, or I can log in as their customer. So let's log in as a user. Oops, it's gonna send me back home because I was trying to view a secured page from the wrong account. So now I'm logged in as the customer. So now I'm the customer, I only have access to my account, my submissions. So if I can click over here, I can actually submit a document, and we'll just call this invoice and some test notes in here, and click submit. It says, thank you for submitting the form. So that's really dope. So let's go ahead and close that. And the thing that I always love to point out here is the pages that get created, because you don't think about them until you actually need them. So obviously we have all of these pages that are, user facing on the app, but then we also have like the login page, account settings, link expired, permission denied, page not found, your 404 error page. All of that got set up for me just off that one prompt that I inputted. And trust me, you don't really appreciate that until you're receiving emails frantically or phone calls from the client at 5 p.m. on a Friday because they're running into a white screen. Okay, so based on everything for round 1, I have to give it to Softr. Okay, so let's review the kind of important information from round 1. Zite has the planning mode, but honestly, I didn't see much of a difference between the planning mode and what Softr does just out of the box. Also, I didn't really like that the permissions were set to anybody can join with Zite, and Softr actually asked me what kind of permissions that I wanted so that not anybody randomly stumbling across this application can go ahead and create an account. Also, just the limitations on Zite for not having multiple users set up so that I can log in according to each user's permissions or role and see what they're able to see. It's obviously a huge detriment, whereas in Softr, I'm able to easily do that. And of course, like I just mentioned, all of the pages that get set up automatically on Softr just totally saves you a headache. So round 1 definitely goes to Softr. Round 2, what comes in the box? This is the round that kills most AI app builders, and it's why I'm not comparing either of these to Lovable or Bolt today. Those tools will hand you something beautiful in 4 minutes, and then you go, cool, where does the data live? And the answer is go set it up in Supabase, and then go connect auth, and then go open N8N to make the email fire. So the actual app took 4 minutes, and the rest of the system took your entire afternoon. Both Zite and Softer clear that bar, and that's genuinely to Zite's credit. Database, auth, permissions, workflows, all native to both. Okay, so now I'm going to set up a workflow and see who does workflows better. All right, so I'm going to start with Softr. So I'll come over here to workflows, click create, and I'm just going to start with a blank canvas. All right, and then for the trigger, I'm going to come here to Softr databases and select when a record meets conditions. Okay, so I'm going to select the client portal database and I'm going to select submissions. So my condition is going to be if the status is approved, then it's going to go ahead and generate an email. That's what this workflow is that I want to build. Okay, I'll click continue and test my trigger. I can see real data coming up here, so I'm good to go. Okay, and now I'm going to send the email. So click here to send the email. I'm going to send it from my real email address. Okay, and now the recipient, so I want to notify the end user or the accounting firm's client that their invoice or whatever it is that they uploaded was approved, their submission was approved. So I'm going to click this @ sign to dynamically map from record meets conditions, and I'm going to come down here to customer email and click that. So that way, if it's a different person and they have a different email address and they're submitting something for approval, then it's going to dynamically change along with their email address each time. So I'm just going to have the subject set to submission approved. And then for the body, I'm going to come in here and dynamically map again. And I'm going to use the customer name. So hi, Oliver Lee, your submission was approved. And then I'm going to come back to that @ sign one more time. And I'm going to add the label. And that's just basically the comments that were left. And it just gives him more context. Thanks, Jane, or whoever. But that way they know like the context. So confirm that the business expenses match the provided receipts exactly. Awaiting final deposit payment before the submission, yada, yada, yada. Okay, I'm going to click continue. Okay, so this is something where I feel like Softr stands head and shoulders above everyone else. It allows you to send a mock test, meaning you don't have to go in and put your email address in there and then hit the button to test it and then change it back to the customer's email address. You could actually send a mock test. So instead of clicking real test, You want to just have it set to mock and then click the test button. And then we can see success down below as if it actually sent to Oliver Lee. So it's just another safeguard. Like, you don't actually send a real email to your customer accidentally, but you're also able to test it using their real email address. Perfect. That's it. So now I can click turn on and publish. Easy peasy. All right, let's head over to Zite. Okay, so I'm going to come back in here to my customer portal and click edit. And I'm going to come here to workflows. Okay, so right off the bat, I have to say this is less intuitive than the canvas that Softr uses, but let's just pick what we think is the best one, which is update document status. Okay, so in doing some research, because it was not immediately apparent, it looks like workflows do exist, but not in the way that I think. So Zite does support sending email, but it will send emails when users take specific actions in your Zite app, not watch a database field and then fire automatically. So can I actually build what I want? Yes, if the approval actually happens inside of a workflow. So for example, the user, meaning the accounting firm, clicks approve, the workflow updates the status, and then sends the email. So not as intuitive as I would have hoped. And then ChatGPT is just saying the documentation isn't entirely clear whether existing generated workflows can call other workflows. So I'm not 100% sure, but the clear winner of round 2 is got to be Softr. Okay, round 3. And this is where the gap opened up for me, because nobody builds a client app once. You build it and then the client looks at it and says, oh, actually, can we filter by company? And can the admin see something that the users can't? And oh, my partner wants a different view. That's not scope creep. That's just the job. Okay, so now we're going to ask the Softr AI co-builder to make a change for us. I want to add a tab on the customer's interface where they can see rejected or pending items only. Okay, so let's send that off. Okay, so Softr made the change. I updated the blocks code and replaced it with the new component you provided. It now renders a greeting subtitle optional global search button, tabs with counts, status filtered lists, empty states, and a loading/error handling. If you want, I can preview how it looks with sample records or revert specific changes. Let's just click preview and see what this actually looked like. Okay, so we still have the same layout with my submissions. Right now I'm logged in as Oliver Lee. Remember, he's the customer. And then at the top, I have all submissions and then pending and rejected. So it's allowing me to filter those. I actually really like that. That's better than what I had planned. Okay, and now let's take that same prompt and go back over to Zite. Okay, so I'm going to request the same change here. Okay, and so it's saying I've added a needs attention tab to your customer's dashboard so they can quickly find anything requiring their attention. So this is just another little separate tab. And obviously right now I just have that one item in there because I can't log in as the accounting firm in order to approve it. And so it's just going to have my one item that I uploaded still on that needs attention tab. But just aesthetically, I feel like it looks good. I like that it has a red badge to call attention to it. So not bad. And here's the thing that you have to watch with Zite. It runs on a monthly credit allowance, and the plans start at $15 a month for 100 credits and go up to $55 for 200. Generating the app is cheap. The revisions aren't. Every restructure or new view, and every time that the client comes back with just one more thing, is credits coming out of that allowance. So if I click on upgrade and open this up, I can see that I have used 12 of 50 credits. It looks like that resets at the end of the month. And then 3 of 10 daily messages, which resets at midnight UTC. So 10 daily messages, if you're, doing a lot of back and forth, isn't the best. And same with the credits. It looks like that's a monthly limit. So 50 credits over the course of a month. Obviously, right now I'm just on the free plan, and those numbers do increase as you go to pro or business. So if I'm looking at the pro plan, I get everything in free plus, and then the 100 credits per month is that $19. If I wanted 200 credits, it goes to $39, 800, so on and so forth. And then 2,000 credits would be $329 per month, which is fine when you're building one internal tool for your own team. But the whole business model that I teach you is that you build it once and then you sell that same system to 5 more businesses. And every one of those wants it slightly different. So you're paying for those revisions 5 times over. Last round. And this is the one that actually decides it. Before I hand this to anybody, I can log in as every single type of user and see exactly what they see. So I've got 100% certainty about what it looks like in production and how it behaves in production without me having to set up fake test accounts or jumping through a bunch of hoops. And this is the answer to the question that every client asks on the sales call, which is what happens if it messes up? You open the run history and you show them every step that ran, what it returned, and where anything went sideways. You can't buy that kind of confidence in a room. Now, the other piece of round 4 for Zite is maturity, and I want to be fair about how I say this. So Zite launched in 2025, so it has a smaller community, fewer templates, less documentation. That's something that's been around for a while. And new isn't automatically bad. I've made real money on tools that were 6 months old, and I would do it again. But there's a difference between me experimenting on my own time and me telling a business owner who just wired me $4,000 that his entire invoicing process now lives on a platform that's about a year into its life. Round 4 goes to Softr. So now let's talk about what this is worth, because this is where people always undersell themselves into the ground. A portal like this is a 4-figure setup fee without question. I'd put it at about $3,000 to $5,000 to build and hand off, because you're saving them real hours and real payroll every month. And then because the work never stops coming in, there are new users to add and the occasional weird requests to handle. You charge $500 a month to own it and keep it running. And the reason why you can say that number with confidence has nothing to do with how fast the build was. It's because when they ask what happens if it breaks, you have an answer. And when they ask who else can log in, you already checked. That's what they're paying for. The tool is just how you get there. So here's where I land. Zite is a real tool, and I'm not gonna pretend otherwise. If you're building something internal for your own team, you like being early on stuff, go play with it and come back and tell me how it holds up in 6 months, because I actually want to know. But if you're taking somebody's money and putting your name behind the thing that you're handing off to them, I would definitely want you on Softr, because it's not some fly-by-night platform or something that you vibe coded with a tool that you don't really understand that's gonna break in a week and then make you look silly and damage your reputation. It's a production-ready system that you can stand behind, and that confidence is worth as much as the build itself. If you want to test Softr's AI co-builder yourself, the link is down in the description, and you'll get 200 free credits to go build your own version of this. Build it once, use it as a demo, and then go sell it. And thank you to Softr for sponsoring this video. And if you want help building systems like this, finding these clients and then actually closing them, come join my school community of over 3,000 members doing that for real. You'll get access to me to get all your questions answered. The link is down below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.